Picture yourself on a Viking longship, adrift in the icy North Atlantic sometime in the 10th century. The ship is your entire world, 70 feet of wood, battered by relentless Arctic winds and freezing spray. Every breath burns, every wave threatens to claim you. The sun is a pale disk, rarely seen, offering no warmth. Sleet and snow coat the deck in ice, and your hands ache from hauling frozen ropes. The sea crashes over the sides, drenching you in salt water that freezes if you're not vigilant. Survival is a constant battle, not just against the cold, but against despair. The cold seeps into your bones, making every movement a struggle. For Norse sailors, this was more than a test of endurance. It was a psychological fight against a world devoid of comfort. Every creak and crash is a reminder of your vulnerability. To survive, you need more than courage. You need practical skills passed down through generations. Mastery of the North Atlantic required knowledge, preparation, and a relentless will to push onward. This was the crucible in which Viking survival was forged. The Viking longship was their first shield against the cold. Its clinker-built hull flexed with the waves, preventing breakage and keeping the crew afloat. The shallow draft kept the deck above the worst of the freezing water. Beneath the deck, a pocket of air insulated the crew from the icy sea. Oak and pine were chosen for strength and flexibility, while animal hair and pine tar sealed the planks against leaks. Every detail, from the caulking to the removable deck boards, was designed for survival. Before a sailor ever set foot aboard, the ship itself was a fortress against the elements. The longship's design was the foundation of every other survival strategy. Clothing was a Viking's personal armor against the cold. Wool, rich in lanolin, repelled water and trapped warmth. Layering was key. A linen or fine wool undertunic topped by thicker wool garments created insulating air pockets. Heavy cloaks of vadmal and animal hides shielded against wind and water. Fur faced outward to shed snow, while leather blocked the wind. Boots stuffed with grass or moss and thick wool mittens protected extremities. Each layer had a purpose: wicking moisture, trapping heat, or blocking the elements. This system was flexible, allowing sailors to adapt to changing conditions. Without this knowledge, crossing the North Atlantic would have been impossible. Vikings wore their survival shelter on their backs. Open flames were too dangerous on a wooden ship, so Vikings brought heat in another form. Before departure, they heated dense stones on shore, then placed them in sand-filled boxes aboard. These stones radiated warmth for hours, creating a fireless hearth at the ship's center. Sailors could warm their hands, dry wet clothing, and even heat food or drink on these stones. This simple technology provided both physical and psychological comfort. The practice showed a deep understanding of how to store and release heat safely. Modern survivalists use similar methods. Vikings were ahead of their time. In the heart of the frozen sea, these stones became islands of warmth. It was a lifeline, not just for the body but for morale. Wind chill was a deadly enemy, so Vikings improvised shelters from what they had. Shields, lashed along the gunnels, formed a windbreak, reducing exposure on deck. When anchored or in severe weather, the sail could be rigged as a tent, creating a communal refuge. This transformed the open deck into a sheltered space where the crew could rest. Repurposing gear was essential. Shields became walls, sails became roofs. This adaptability is a core survival principle, still taught today. The Vikings' ingenuity turned weapons and tools into life-saving shelter. Survival meant seeing every object's hidden potential. Even with the best gear, the cold was relentless. The Vikings' greatest weapon was each other. At night, the crew huddled together under the sail tent, sharing body heat. Communal sleeping bags made from sheepskin or fur trapped warmth, turning the group into a collective furnace. This practice was as much psychological as physical. Solidarity and shared struggle kept despair at bay. The bonds of the crew were their true strength. Modern survival still teaches the value of shared warmth and teamwork. On the frozen sea, unity was the difference between life and death. Viking survival was built on 4 pillars: preparation, resourcefulness, teamwork, and endurance. They planned meticulously, from shipbuilding to clothing to portable heat. Every tool had multiple uses. A shield was a windbreak, a sail was a roof. They survived as a crew, sharing warmth and labor, reinforcing the power of the group. Their mindset was one of resilience and adaptation, not complaint. These lessons remain vital for anyone facing the wild today. Preparation and adaptability turn a hostile world into one of opportunity. Teamwork and endurance transform hardship into triumph. The Vikings' legacy is not just in their conquests, but in their survival strategies. Their wisdom endures wherever humans face the fury of nature. The greatest struggle was often internal, a battle against the cold's assault on the mind. Prolonged exposure bred apathy and fatigue, making every task a test of will. Ship routines and shared duties kept minds engaged and spirits from collapsing. Songs, stories, and camaraderie were weapons against despair. Fighting for the crew, not just oneself, gave each sailor strength to endure. The will to live was their most vital tool. Viking culture valued courage and reputation, fueling determination. Without psychological resilience, practical skills meant little. They conquered the North Atlantic not just with hands, but with unbreakable minds.